how do you do it? I said work, but number one, we got to recruit. Every day, we wake these kids up in the morning, we put them to bed at night. It's like shaving. If you don't do it every day, you start to look like crap. Everybody wants to work with Will Stein, and everybody wants to work at the University of Kentucky. So I'm fired up. Go Cats. Thank you.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
I'm Alan Cutler, honored and pleased to be with you. Thank you so much for joining me, whether it's live now, podcast tonight, podcast tomorrow, and telling a friend or two about the show as we are growing. Thanks to you sharing the word and just listening. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I could do 4 hours today, which thank goodness I won't. My throat wouldn't handle it. Not fair to Brad Taylor and Paul Feinbaum, who was on our station, without repeating anything. There's that much going on. I'm going to quickly say our guests, because if I don't, it's going to be 12:30 before I say anything. Van Hiles, No Filter, great on Kentucky basketball. Nick Roush does a studly job covering Kentucky football. And when I call the law firm of the Lanters, Bowen Todd Lanter will be joining us. We have a lot of Stein sound, other things. Pope talk today. In my wildest dreams, I never thought I'd be doing a show with the Kentucky coach who already talked that we didn't play the whole thing. I'm not sure I'm going to have time to play it. I'll just say right now, Kentucky is 0-3. They're not 5-3. They are 0-3. The 0-3 against top 25 teams. This is not a good basketball team now, but it's possible they'll become a very good basketball team. I am open-minded, but right now they're not good. And as I said the other day, before Marino hit those 2 free throws, which were pure clutch to give Kentucky a 1-point lead, and I thought Kentucky was going to win then, and I was wrong, that I didn't think either team was very good. When you're talking about blue bloods, this is North Carolina blue bloods. This is Kentucky blue bloods. For them, they're not really good right now. They're not. That doesn't mean things can't change. We're going to go away from basketball for a little minute. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, you are wonderful. Wonderful. I have a bad throat, and I've been scrambling to get on the air today, which doesn't happen very often. And my beautiful wife just brought me a cup of throat tea. Jimmy, is that good or what?
That's perfect timing.
Well, I boiled the water, but I didn't have time to go back. The last couple hours have been a little nuts, and nuts on a good thing. I'm having a great time, just a great time doing this show. So a little note that I want to start with that I never thought would be part of the show. According to Pat Forty, Jeff Brom has turned down Penn State. And in the history of college athletics, and there's always conversations that happen behind the scenes that you're never going to find out. You're just not. From understanding what has leaked about conversations with coaches, I have never in my career seen anyone screw up as much as Penn State. I mean, never, ever, ever. They can't find a damn coach. And whenever the coach happens, one of the first questions could be, hey, now that you're the Penn State coach, what does it feel like to be the 47th choice? And the person will say, you know what? Doesn't matter. I'm here. I'm the right guy, and it's all good. It's unbelievable. And according to Pat Forty, what he said was, as Brom is meeting with his Louisville folks, what he's saying is he's more interested in NIL than his contract. And I can absolutely believe it. I believe it. You've heard me say for years on this show that NIL, when it comes to a coach getting hired, oftentimes is the first question asked. It is. It is. Without NIL, as Rich Brooks told us on our show the other day, and he really likes Stein and knows Stein, he just hopes that Kentucky has enough NIL money for him. I think that's a fair question. Now, I thought it was interesting. I've never heard Mitch so ticked off as I did yesterday, and it's fine. It doesn't threaten me. He should say whatever the hell he wants. But he really kind of went to the wall. And a little bit of what he said, I'm going to tell you what I agree with. There's a yes and no here. That he wanted to make sure that yesterday was about Stein and all these other questions that he really didn't like. He wanted make sure it's all about Stein. Now, it really is all about Stein, and I can respect the fact that he said it, but there are other questions that you have to ask Mitch. That is fair. It is really fair. And one of the things that I like yesterday is that both Mitch and Stein paid great compliments to Mark Stoops. I thought it was classy on both of these guys' parts. Both of their parts. Both of their parts. We're going to play clip 4, Jimmy, from Mitch. Let's do it first. And Mitch didn't help himself. And I've said this many times. There's a lot of things Mitch has done I've complimented. I have a feeling, doesn't bother me, that those that like Mitch, if and when they listen, are only remembering the negative things that I say. I've said both, and I don't really care. I'm not bought and sold by anybody. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. That's it. In a way, that makes me a simple man. And he has to have the right amount of money. I have no idea what it is. I have no idea what Kentucky's NIL money is compared to Alabama. I don't know what's compared to Auburn. I don't know what's compared to Florida. I don't know. I'd like to know. Maybe someday some of those things will leak out. Here is Mitch. It's over 40 seconds. And as you listen to this, listen to the veracity in his tone of voice. He's ticked. He can be ticked. But there's something here he missed, and he missed big, and he's defending himself. And if he's right, I'm not calling him a liar. I don't know. And it's fair to question. And that's what I do. I ask questions. If he's right, good. 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 Here is Mitch when asked about NIL and money and all those kinds of things.
So this notion that we don't have enough is ridiculous. We've got enough. We've got to resource it the right way. We've got to assess talent the right way. We've got to acquire it the right way. And we've got to make sure we're within the boundaries and the rules. We're not going to break the rules. That's flat out. We're not doing that. Right? We will do it the right way. We don't need to do that. We're good enough at what we do. We've got good people. That's why we hired this guy. He's really smart. Really smart. He's put together a really good game plan of how they're going to do it. And in the first day, they've made some really nice adjustments to what we're doing, and we'll be fine. But that notion that all this nonsense has been created in a variety of places that we don't have enough or we're not working at it has got to stop. That's enough.
Well, Mitch, I'll stop when I want to stop, as you'll stop when you want to stop. And that's fine. I'm not threatened by that. It doesn't bother me. It's all good. What I would have liked Mitch to do is to say, look, ladies and gentlemen, I was wrong. And I was slow getting on board with NIL. And I've said this before. I sincerely believe this is not the only reason. And I've said this. One of the downfalls of Mark Stoops is he didn't get enough support with NIL. I can't look you in the eye and tell you if he had the right support from the get-go, would Stoops be here? I think the odds are actually really good. Do I know for sure? I don't know squat. Because you don't know how those decisions based upon more money might have gotten him different players and more players. You don't know that. I think it's part of a combination of things. And I think that's fair. I really think it's fair. So Mitch spoke yesterday. Here where Matt Jones is just wrong. He's just wrong. And he's got the information. He said it before 12 o'clock. And yes, I'm listening. And yes, I don't troll Matt. And some people have been coming at me. You hate Matt. You're jealous. I'm tired of saying this, but I'll say it again. What Matt has built is unbelievable. I respect it tremendously. So you people chomping at me, I wish you'd open up your damn ears. But you know what? I'm fair game. So is he. What is he? Zeus? What is he, a Greek god? I mean, come on. Sometimes he's wrong. So he's saying that Mitch has been screaming this. Almost never talks. And so here are the dates. August 1st, August 12th, September 9th, October 14th, November 11th, and December 3rd, Mitch has talked. So Matt said, well, okay, I got sent this information. In fairness, I'm going to say it, but it's not the same. Matt, you're so wrong. You're clueless. You're clueless. Let me tell you a little secret. Give John Hale some credit. Okay? John is a very good beat reporter. And what he does when they have these blue meetings and stuff like that afterwards, Mitch will talk. Mitch has talked. Guess what? You don't need a formal damn press conference. If I was still doing TV, I promise you, anytime after those blue meetings, I'd be standing outside waiting for Mitch to come out. It's what I did. This is not revisionist history. It's what I did. So as long as he can talk, you don't need a damn formal press conference. Hey, Matt, you're so wrong. You're clueless sometimes with some of this stuff. You're just wrong. If you talk, you talk. What do I need, a formal press conference to say you talk? And I have watched what John has done. And John Hale's got some really nice scoops because you know what he did? You know what the hell John Hale did? He showed up. You can show up. And Matt, you got 9 million people on your staff. You should be having people there. And you should know that Mitch has talked to all these things. Well, I'm out of fairness, I'm going to say, I've got these dates, but it's not a real press conference. Stop it, Matt. You're wrong. You're absolutely clueless. I got one more. And I've worked on this for a couple of days. Matt did something the other day where he said before Stein was hired that Brett Stetzer's plane, and I believe initially he pronounced his name wrong, and if I'm wrong about that, come on at me. I'm good with that. That Brett Stetzer, a big supporter, very good friends with Rich Brooks, very good friends with Mark Stoops. So as I said, you think Brett was happy that Mark Stoops was fired? Think about it. Use your head. And it wouldn't have taken much homework on his part. So here's the part that you're going to find amazing. And I've talked to a bunch of people about this. I'm not going to give you the number, can't give you names. It's all good. Okay. One, I'm not close with Brett Setzer, but I know enough to know that I'm laughing because this is so stupid on Matt's part. The odds of Brett Setzer giving Mitch a plane to help him go to Columbus and or Oregon, which, by the way, didn't happen, and or Oregon, it'd be like the longest shot winning the Kentucky Derby. So he should know that. That's number one. He should know that. Two, I know there's a television station in the state of Kentucky that was putting in this information that was fake and put out as a sort of a prank joke, putting in their story that Stetzer's plane was going to Columbus and Oregon. Notice I said was going to. And that station did some homework and found out that Stetzer's plane was never involved, and that flight plan was a joke and not true, and Matt went with it like it was gospel. Now, radio is different from TV. I can tell you when I was in TV for years and years and years, if I went with a story like that and it was incorrect, I would have been, even as strong as I was at 18, you're in trouble. Would I have gotten fired? No. No. Would I have been in the news director's office and have some explaining to do? Absolutely. But radio's different. You can be a big mouth and say what you want. And my thing with Matt, I'll just be blunt, is some of you who love him, and great if you love him, think he's the gospel. No, he's done an unbelievable job building a radio show, and he's a megalomaniac, and what he's built is unbelievable. And I poke at him, and I'll poke at him again, and I'll compliment him again. Look, he had Stein on before me. Would I have liked to have Stein first? Yes. He's also on the network that carries the games. Do I think that helps him? Yes. Just saying. Doesn't matter how it helps him. The matter is you either get it or you don't. That's cold, and I'm being cold on myself. I just am. Man, I wasn't going to go this long on it. It's now 12:17. Enough of that. But think about it. Can you imagine being a TV reporter and putting that in your story? TV's different. There are still a lot of stations that care about facts. There are. There's a lot of BS out there, and I can't stand it. I've said this before. Anybody who makes up something in a news department, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, Independent. I don't give a crap. I don't care. If you make something up, You're embarrassing other people. You're embarrassing somebody like me who cared about facts. You can have a big mouth and care about facts. Ask Keith Farmer how much I care about facts. Ask Ryan Lemon how much I care about facts. Ask Mary Jo how I care about facts. You can have a big mouth and do both. Just saying. Just saying. Back to Stein. So I'm not changing how I feel. I think it's a great hire. And I love it. I really do. And here comes the but. You still got to show me. You still got to show me. Now, I think Stein, and I'm going to tell you this before it comes out of my mouth, because I like it, but this word that's coming out of my mouth, some of you are going to take the wrong way. I'm telling you, I'm smiling as I say it. He's cocky. He's really cocky, yet he's got some humbleness about him, and he's got respect in him. And I think, and I don't know, I think it's a fascinating combination. I think it's kind of a winning combination. I feel, and I could be wrong, I feel some old school in him, which I like a lot. And let me repeat, he is cocky. Now, why would he be cocky? Now, he made jokes of it. But Jimmy, he really did have to lower the microphone after Mitch spoke. And it's not like Mitch is 7'2". Mitch is not short. It's not a shot against Mitch. But he did lower it. He made a little joke on himself, I think twice, whatever it was. Can you imagine? I think he's 5'9". Jimmy, do me a favor. The last time I looked at his height and weight is when he played for Louisville. Can you see what the official height and weight was when he played at Louisville?
Yeah, he's listed at 5'10".
That's a lie.
And we know about listed heights.
By the way, I'm just telling you, you were over-modulating like crazy in my ear. So I don't know if this, my ear or whatever, like never been so loud in all the time we've done this.
Is that better?
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bad. I want to hear your voice. I don't want you to be quiet. This show is organic. We do tons of stuff on the fly. Tell me, Jimmy, if you think this is too strong. He's never going to do it, but I would venture. Oh, I shouldn't do this. First of all, he'll never do it. Shaving my head. If in bare feet, he is 5'10". I think that's a safe bet. I will shave my head. Oof. Why are you smiling at me like that, Jimmy?
Just because I am wondering how tall he really is. Because was he one of those guys that he was a true 5'10"? Most quarterbacks, if they're short, they're going to give you an extra inch.
Anybody,
at least.
Come on, dude. Anybody that listed as 6 feet as a basketball player, it's never 6 feet.
Yeah.
Come on. And by the way, if you think I'm being negative towards Stein, hell no. But, whatever. Most guys in basketball that list themselves as 6'1" are usually 5'11", right?
Yeah.
Charles Barkley was 6'4.5". Okay.
I'm looking at a picture next to him. It's him, Bo Nix, and Dylan Gabriel. They all look like they're in the same shoes, and he is a little shorter than Dylan Gabriel.
What is Dylan Gabriel listed? Because I always thought he was pretty short as well. And that's a really good point. As you're looking it up, it's a really good point.
Gabriel is 5'11".
If Gabriel was 6'1", he would have been drafted higher, and that's not much of a prediction. I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I really do. So the point is, he's got to prove it. Listening to Tom Leach's show this morning, got to give credit. I was surprised by this answer. I got to be careful here because I have mixed emotions about this. I really wanted to see Stein call plays. Who the hell am I? I'm a talker. Okay? But I respect the fact that he told Leach, and it sounded like from hearing what Stein told Leach, that he really grappled with this. And I'm sure he's gotten some advice from some other people and stuff like that. That he is concerned, number one, and my gosh, I respect the hell out of this. He is concerned, number one, about he wants to be a great head coach. And because of that, he is not going to be calling plays. He's not going to be in the head of the quarterbacks. Now, does that mean that if he thinks something, he's not going to get in the head of the quarterback? Now, of course, he's the head coach. Duh. But one of the things from afar that I've really liked is how he called plays. Now, do I think, and apparently it's Justin Burke, and we hope to have Justin Burke on the air when he's officially announced. I mean, he was the LAX 18 High School Sports Zone Player of the Year. Jimmy, he was a hell of a quarterback and went to Louisville and stuff like that. And you know, he has been with Stein a bunch, and he's now developed into a wonderful offensive coordinator. So I was guessing without knowing and probably hoping that if it is Burke, that he would be the OC but not the play caller. And by the way, if you think that's a shot against Burke, stop it. Smart kid, wonderful kid, and they have a relationship, and it's a great hire if it is him. So there's nothing negative there, but I had a fascination of seeing Stein call plays. But if he thinks he's got to not call plays because he's got to be the head coach, my gosh, I respect the hell out of it. And I do think at times, since I'm not going to talk out of both sides of my mouth, there have been head coaches who at times really need to give up the play calling because they need to be a head coach. It's not an easy thing to do. It's not. And part of it has to do letting your staff do their thing. And part of it has to do is how you delineate and how you dissect roles and stuff like that. But this is the first time he's a head coach. I'd be willing to bet without knowing that Stein talked to a number of football people he really trusts about that. And whatever that decision is, I bet it wasn't an easy one. You know, you're talking about him giving up something that he loves to do. Doesn't like to do, but he absolutely loves to do. Loves it. Loves it. Loves it. Let's go to clip 3 of Stein. And one of the things that I was looking for is the obvious. I mean, basically anything that was out there, you know, I'm not the only person doing this, was reading everything, you know, feed the studs, all that kind of stuff. I had what I would call a good superficial knowledge of Stein before this. So that wasn't good enough. You know he's coming. I had to dive in. It's okay. Now, I said this the other day, and I mean it. And what he said, what I expected him to say, I'm good with. So there's a thing in football, and this has happened a lot of times, when you have someone. Now, I know you're from Kentucky, and that's nice, but he doesn't really have Kentucky ties if you think of where he's coached, okay? That doesn't mean you can't get into any high school anywhere you want and that kind of stuff. But there are times that coaches come from a different part of the country, come in and fail because he didn't have enough connections. I think his personality will overcome that. I think his style will overcome that. I really do. And I stand by this. For those of you worried about Kentucky and Ohio with recruiting and stuff like that, here's a really simple deal. I'm going to say this slowly. Not the first time I've said this. If he is going to succeed, there is no doubt in my mind that Stein is going to have to nationally recruit better than it's been done in the past. Let me repeat. By the way, and I think he can. But I stand by this, and I'm not backing off. And think about it for a second as I explain it. If he's going to be as good as he thinks he can be, he's going to have to nationally recruit. Look, if you're a wide receiver and you run a 4.2 or 4.3 and you got good hands and all that kind of stuff, wouldn't you want to play in this offense? So what the hell does it matter if you're from Maine? What does it matter if you're from Massachusetts? What does it matter if you're in California? What does it matter if you're in Florida? What does it matter if you're in Kentucky? When you have an aggressive style like this, I honestly believe, whether it's Stein or anybody else, it opens up more doors than Stoops had. Not a shot against Stoops. If you take it that way, I'm sorry, because I could say the same thing about a lot of coaches. And so I've had some football people come at me and say, you know, I wanted Hartline more. And by the way, I think Hartline's going to do a hell of a job for USF, so there's no hidden message there. I wanted Hartline more because he can recruit Ohio better. Do I think Hartline could recruit Ohio better? I do. I do. Do I think Hartline is really good with young people? I do. Do I think he's ready to be a head coach? I do. But so is Stein. And you know what's going to be interesting, Jimmy, if he maybe pulls somebody from the state of Washington to come here or California to come here. So I'm really going to look at that. And I know there's a theory, and there's a lot to this, that if within about a 250-mile circumference, there's so many great football players, because there really is. And if you can concentrate on that, because your parents can come in the game and all that kind of stuff, parents and girlfriends and boyfriends and all that kind of stuff, and that's great. But if you want to make this a national big-time program, at times you got to go other places, and I think he can. I think his cockiness with his humbleness. By the way, do we have time to play that bite? We're getting close to Van, aren't we?
Yeah, he just got in the waiting room.
Okay, we're not going to play that bite now. I already marked it off his plate. I do that to try to stay ahead of things. I'm curious what Van thinks. The other thing is about the quarterbacks, really quick, and I want to ask Van about this. He basically said, if you're a quarterback and you can't complete 70% of your passes in high school, what does that mean for college? I like that. And he used 7 yards. I thought he was going to use 10 or 12 yards. But basically, he said most quarterbacks are not throwing the ball over 7 yards. So it's basically getting the ball out quickly, getting it where it's supposed to go, making the right decision, and be accurate for those 7 yards. Interesting. Van Hiles coming up next. You think there's anything I said at all, that was mean, nasty, lewd, lascivious in this monologue?
No, there was a lot that was said, but I don't think none of it seemed mean-spirited. No.
You know me now pretty well, or probably better than I care to admit. When I criticize Matt Jones, it's nothing personal. I'm not after him. I'm not jealous of him. You can poke at me. Great. I can poke at you. Doesn't that seem pretty simple? Yes or no, Jimmy?
Yeah. Everybody's pokeable, if you want to put it that way.
Yes, but some of the people listen to him. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? Come on. How dare you not think about the Quantrill Auto Group? They are great. XC60. It's a Volvo. We have it. Judy loves it. Hybrid, 41 miles before you get the gas. It is so smooth, and the hybrid is saving us money. I figured at least 2, not 3. I'm hoping a little more than 2 payments a year just by the hybrid. And I included the electricity that it's going to cost us. You can't not include that. Besides, it's the smoothest thing we've owned. 12, 13 years, we've now had 3 vehicles from the Quantrill Auto Group. I trust them. They're lovely people. They really are. Plus, if you want an Outback, big-time car, they still have it for a zero price, 0% interest for 36 months. Wow. And if you want to spread it out to 72, it is 1.9. 0 for 36. What a deal. Don't forget, the Quantrill family of dealerships is the right place to get you your next Subaru, and they promise to get you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks. And no gimmicks. By the way, I just got a text. I have to say this. When I talked about Brett Setzer, everything I said is boom, bullseye. And it might have been my ears. Matt did not pronounce Brett Setzer's name wrong. That must have been my ears. So to that, I want to correct it to be straight up. The other stuff about the not using the plane where Matt was wrong, the stuff about how that almost made a story of a TV station in the state of Kentucky, which would have been bogus and gotten some people in trouble. That whole thing was just bogusly made up. And Matt meant like it was gospel. And that's just BS. Anyway, little clarification. Not on the story. Van Hiles coming up next. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrill Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties. Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. The Quantrill Auto Group has a great deal for this month. Subaru! The Outback is special, so check this out. 0%. That's right, 0% interest for 36 months. And if you want to spread it out to 72 months, 1.9%. What a deal! 0% interest for 36 months. Don't forget, the Quattro family of dealerships is the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks.
My name is Terry Schultz, CEO for the Rutherford County Area Habitat for Humanity. Republic Bank has really been a game changer. They have invested not only financially, but time to really listen so that we can move our mission forward. What I like about Republic Bank is they've come in asking, what are your needs? And I don't know that you get that any other place.
That's Terry's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank. Time to thrive. Member FDIC.
Ho, ho, ho.
What are you doing, Uncle Rick?
Looking at these twinkle lights, 250 strands of lights, 100 individual bulbs per strand, for a grand total of 25,000 twinkle lights.
Well, it looks like you're not quite ready for the holidays yet. Here at Clark's Pop and Shop, we are. We have 5-hour energy shots, buy 2, get 1 free, and Mike and Ike or Hot Tamales Theater Box Candy, 2 for $2.
Maybe I should wrap up my lights so I can get over to Clark's Pop and Shop.
Uncle Rick, the little lights aren't blinking.
I know, Carl. I know.
Happy holidays from the Clark family.
Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google, Monday through Friday.
Another wild, old, bearded one. They were picking on me how I look now. I think I look just fine. I'm not on TV. Why do I want to shave every day? I think it's funny. Mr. Van Hiles, former Studley DB at Kentucky.
You can't use stud anymore. That's
What?
the tagline for Will Stein. Feed the studs. I'm not one of those studs. You can't call me Studley anymore. Those days are over.
You're giving up that moniker?
I have to, man. I'm washed up. He's trying to feed the studs.
Your humbleness is shocking, and it reeks with a tremendous lack of sincerity. Van, this is me.
All right. I'm sorry. I threw you off. That's my bad.
Off. I'm just looking. I hate to tell you this, but you've never thrown me off. And if you want to make that a challenge to throw me off, have at it.
Oh, Jimmy, get ready for the button. No, I'm just joking.
No. If Jimmy has to hit the button, I'm going to give you a raspberry. That's different. Jimmy is sitting there, and because of the delay, he can easily get to it without stress before it hits the air. So it's all good. Okay, do this. Scale of 1 to 10. 10 being the highest, obviously. The higher. Give me a number. Will Stein.
I'm gonna give it a 9.5 for a lot of reasons. For us to be able to hire the guy that I think we wanted that quickly, to get him in here before signing day was expedient. I wouldn't have never imagined it happening this fast. So because of that, when you get the guy that you want, that's a high grade for me. Because we don't know how anyone's going to do until they get into this into that hot seat and coach here. But for the most part, it's on paper is a great hire.
That's a heck of a comment, and let me amplify it. And this is something I've been saying since the 1970s.
Woo!
Shut up. Somebody listen for the first time is going to take us wrong and ask me if I care as much as you care. I don't know the percentage, it's impossible to know, but I sincerely believe not quite rare. I'm searching for a word stronger than unusual, but not quite rare.
Okay.
It rarely happens. I'm going to change it that way, that your first choice of a job gets the job. Look, I love Rich Brooks, but he was in the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and I don't know how many choices. He just
right.
And you know what? He was the right damn choice.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, the right choice is not the choice that you wanted. Rich did a hell of a job here without getting a lot of financial support that he should have had. I'm not going on that tangent, but so that's not negative. And I think sometimes there's too much negativity that, you didn't get your first choice. I mean, come on, CM Newton, this story is well known. I've still told it many. CM told the story. Matter of fact, the first time I told the story, somebody said, well, who are your sources? And I just went back, CM Newton, who said it publicly. The person didn't answer. CM Newton asked, and I love this story. He asked Mike Krzyzewski, dear friend, okay? And CM had plenty of kahunas. Can I say that word, Jimmy? I guess I just did. I wasn't afraid to get a no. And he asked Mike if he wanted to coach Kentucky, which CM knew the answer, but suppose he was wrong and didn't.
Right.
So was Pitino second fiddle? I mean, PJ Colosimo turned it down, and Pitino and PJ are afraid. Pitino didn't give a crap. And really, in the job Rick did was just unfreaking believable. And you know what? He did a much better job than PJ would have done. It's not the point. The point is, you're really making a good point about that. Now, I'm going to throw this at you. I'm just throwing all this off. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay. I don't know this for fact.
Okay.
I'm putting things together between the lines where I could be wrong. Just saying. Did you listen to John Summerall's press conference?
No.
It was wonderful. John,
of course.
The thing describing the kids and this and that and the other, I mean, he had you grasping. Point is this. He said, I'm glad Florida chose me, and we chose Florida. And then he said something which was interesting. He said, we had choices, but we chose Florida. So to a Florida fan, that should sound good. There's no doubt in my mind, I would put your Social Security check. You are that old. You're collecting Social Security, aren't you, Van?
I'm knocking on the door. I'm not quite there. The door. They haven't answered. I'm knocking though.
Yeah, I just got you because you don't stutter. So I got you. And we know each other too well. I don't know this. I will say this without knowing. There's no way that he was offered the job at Kentucky. It's not Mitch's style. What Mitch has done in the past, let's say he's interested in you, and let's say you were his number one choice. By the way, I'm not saying Stein wasn't his number one choice. I'm not saying it. So I have to repeat myself because some people take my crap and they say, Cutler said this when I didn't. I would be shocked if there weren't feelers somehow put out to Summerall. I would be shocked. And by the way, it was interesting. Summerall said that he and Lane Kiffin are really good friends, which, by the way, doesn't surprise me. And Kiffin said that Florida was the right job for him. Anyway, the point is this. I applauded Mitch because you have to. It's the right thing to do. There's good and bad. Applauded Mitch, Mark Hill, Ray Rock Oliver, the three people with the administration say go, which they did on a dime. And how they put this together on a dime, however they did it, guess what? Congratulate them tremendously. And I've said it before. Congratulate them tremendously. It's tough for me to believe that they didn't reach out to, 15 people. If they didn't reach out to 3 or 4 people, hey, would you be interested if this ever happened?
Yeah.
Okay, it would be tough. And it would be tough for me to believe that Summerall wasn't one of them. I don't know it. If someone wants to, inside UK, wants to tell me I'm wrong from somebody I respect, I would say somebody said that and I was wrong. I just don't believe it. And actually, I want to be careful about this. It's no filter. It would almost have negligence not to reach out to John Summerall. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes. Here's the thing. If you're the owner of a company and you see the forecast of your company going sour a little bit, you're going to start making preparations to replace the head of whatever department's going sour. I'm pretty comfortable saying that after that South Carolina game and somewhere between that Georgia, Tennessee, Texas game, that Mitch started to put a list together, and a list that was already in pencil already, because you have to always be prepared. And I guarantee you there were some talks, maybe not from Mitch, but from somewhere within the program to call agents to get a feel of, would your client be willing to come to Kentucky if things go sour?
That's exactly what I'm saying. And somebody supports the Mitch, and Mitch keeping his circle small, and not a lot of people know about it. And these are people he trusts. These are people that work for him and with him, and you do it quietly. And first of all, if he didn't do it, it's incompetence. And I absolutely believe. I absolutely believe, you have to believe that he did that. How could you not? And I'm going to shut up. No, hang on. I want to say one more thing. Shut up. There's no way I believe you can put this together this quickly with Stein without other things happening ahead of time.
It's impossible.
When they got on the plane to go out there, they were convinced before they got on the plane.
Yeah. I'm going to say this. He had... If I'm the AD, I have my top 5 guys that I truly want. My top 5. Like, I not truly want guys that I know I can get. Then I might have 2 or 3 like wish lists.
No, you're full of it. Hang on.
You don't think it's 5?
You know I love you, dude. Right?
You don't think it's 5?
Okay, no, you said 5 I can get.
Yes. Because I've already put out fillers that, such and such, if Kentucky calls, I will go. Those are your 5 guaranteed guys that I know I have a high likelihood of getting. Then I have 2 pie in the sky guys, maybe 3. Maybe whomever, maybe Kirby Smart. I'm just reaching on that. Maybe I call, just like you said, Coach K with CM Newton. Somebody of that caliber to see if they will want to come to Kentucky. But you have 3 to 5 guys that you know, if you call them tomorrow, there's a high likelihood of them coming. And you cannot turn this over in a week with a new hire that quickly without having fillers and that guy giving you a heads up that, yes, I'll be willing to come to Kentucky if you call. It's impossible.
Man, can we disagree a little bit? Are you
okay? Go ahead.
Okay, I think you're close to bullseye, and you're going to tell me back I'm wrong. I think you put a top list together. And by the way, do I think Krzyzewski was in that top list of CM? I do not, but you asked the question. Do I think CM, kind of know a little bit about this, had a list and Pitino was kind of like his wish list kind of thing, but in there? Yes, he had on his list people he wasn't sure he can get, but was going to ask first because this is Kentucky basketball, for the moon, and all those kinds of things. I also, and CM's not here to defend himself, would he have coached the team if he couldn't get the right person? Absolutely. I have never believed, I don't know why I'm going this tangent, never believed that CM would sabotage us so he could coach the team. I think his love for, and by the way, he'd have done a hell of a job, but that's not the point. I don't think for a second there was, well, he's going to go after 5 people that will say no so he can coach the team. Never did I think that was part of him. Never. Would he have done it? In 2 seconds. But I think his loyalty towards Kentucky and doing the right thing was right. But I don't believe that everybody on his list he thought he can get. I just don't.
Okay. That's fair.
Okay.
That's not, I was expecting something hotter than that.
No,
that's
no filter true.
Yeah. I'm not sure of, I just know this, and not being in the administration thing, for this to happen so fast, he had to have a inkling that he was going to say yes. It's impossible not to. I just know business deals do not happen. Look, there's too much red tape. There's too many people to talk to have this thing done in 3-4 days? Wait, you fired Stoops on Sunday and we had a hire on Wednesday? Right? Tuesday?
The hire was done. Actually, Debbie Stein on our show said that she got the official call at 11:30 in the morning. Will saying, "Mom, I'm coming home." Now, she knew the negotiations going on.
Okay.
But it didn't just snap your fingers. That there was some little, like, "Hi, I want the job. Let's kind of figure it out." Look, I think you know this. So I learned this a long time ago, and I was fascinating when I learned this. I'm putting my fingers up. This is on YouTube. Okay, great. This doesn't make any sense, but some of these contracts are pretty thick, as you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I should have saved it, but I had a whole, not a ton. I had contracts going back 20 and 30 years at Kentucky with open records at, and I threw them out when I left. And now I think about why would I want to clutter our house here?
Right.
But the point is, it's almost, and when it was explained to me by somebody who knows more than me, these things are boilerplate, kind of like. And there's a lot of little things you negotiate with cars and this and that and country club. There's a lot of boilerplate things in there. But a lot of this you can do in one page.
Yes.
Or 2 pages or 3 pages. What are you making? Here's the contract. What are the parameters? What are your assistant coach going to make? Now I'm sure it puts in what your NIL is going to be. Whatever. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult. And Jimmy Sexton apparently is the one who changed these things because he's learned how to do this stuff on a dime, and then you figure out the rest.
Right.
And I don't know this, but I was told this, like Jimmy kind of does it, and he often has somebody else in his office figure out the rest, and then if he has to get involved, he is, because he's probably doing something else. Not all the time, but I was told that happening. So, and besides, Stein wanted the job desperately, which Mitch liked, and how much negotiating ploy did he have?
Hey, what you asked me a long time ago, weeks ago, what did I want out of the next coach? A guy who wants to be here. And that's all I want, because he wants to be here. And that's half the battle. And I think him wanting to be here, understand that he wants to, I guess he already has roots here, but to dig even longer roots here, I think is what he wants. And obviously there's going to be a job that trumps us. Hopefully that's years in the future, because hopefully he's successful for 10 plus years. But that's another reason it's a good hire, because he wants to be here. And that's huge. All the coach speak stuff, man. I played with one of the greatest orators of football coaches' history. All that mumbo jumbo press conference and meetings and all means nothing when you step inside that rectangle. But him wanting to be here says a lot, man. And I will support him for as long as he's wearing that headset on the sideline. He has my support, and I really hope he does well.
I think he will do well, but he still has to show me.
Okay,
but am I excited about the hire? I absolutely am. Am I concerned big time that he's never been a head coach? I'm really not.
No.
Because I think this guy is smart enough to surround himself with some people that will help him. But veteran head coach needs help, but I think he's smart enough to do that. And I don't know if I'm ready to say it, but I've now got this from 3 people, but I don't know if it's true. Who might be the DC? I don't think it's set in stone. But let's put it this way. If it comes out and it's not the right name, or the name I've heard, let's put that, I will tell you I'm wrong. I promise you that. But I don't think this is the right or wrong, because this is not me saying, hey, I know. But if it's the person I'm hearing rumors about, it would be spectacular. We'll see.
Look, this is what I'm gonna say about
By the way, it's not Van Hiles.
Oh no, I don't want that smoke. I don't want that smoke. I'm gonna say this. Age means nothing. It's your experience. And I am a big fan of Jeff Traylor. Like, him and Willie Fritz are like my 2 top guys that I love as head coaches in football.
Interesting.
Yeah. So for him here's the thing for me, for Coach Traylor to trust, he was younger than he is now, to trust a young kid to be his offensive coordinator at a good college that Traylor has elevated tremendously, and to learn under him, and then to learn under Lanning, I think his file of how to run a program is unbelievable. And to run a program that's not a name brand, and then to run a program that is a big name brand, to have that diversity, I think is huge. And with that, I think he's going to have success here, because he has coached under, I'm telling y'all, I know many don't know, but Jeff Traylor is an icon in Texas. And for him to learn under him, fresh out of coaching at another iconic high school in Lake Travis, dude, he has the blueprint. It's just, can he morph that blueprint into what we need at Kentucky, and we will see pretty soon.
Traylor's high school record was 175 wins and 26 losses.
Crazy.
26 losses.
Crazy. Yeah, how can you lose 26 times?
Well, and to be honest, until I knew who he was, but I didn't know who he was. Okay, fair.
Okay.
So now with this, I've done some reading on him. You know, they were together in Texas. It was interesting. And then he ended up with him as OC. But what he did was, which was, I thought, brilliant, he had the confidence in himself to go to high school so he can call plays for 2 years.
Yeah.
It was hysterical. You know, you're in high school, you're this coordinator, blah, 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 3-4 things. And the last thing was / and recruiting coordinator in high school. It's in the bylaw. I mean, it's because it's Texas. You know,
yes.
Texas football is different. So the point is this. I'm surprised Traylor is still there because he's like 51 and 25. I'm looking up online.
Okay.
Really good. And I'm surprised he hasn't been tapped by a much bigger program because he's had great offenses. And I really believe, and I want you to, we're about out of time because I've talked too much today. I really believe as great as what Will did at Oregon, and I'm not negating it. I'm not negating. I think what he did at UST is even greater.
Yes.
I get it. You're playing athletes on that level. I get it. But he didn't have the great athletes walking in the door. And for him to be so nationally ranked walking in the door, when I started looking at it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is absolutely, it's crazy good. And then he continued at Oregon.
Right.
But he's athletes at Oregon and Oregon, but it's sort of not the same thing. But I think to do that at your first step, it's like, oh my gosh, let's do things. I described him as, and I say this with loving kindness, listed at 5'10". That's BS. He's got to be 5'9". Neither here nor there. I just have this thing about basketball players that beat. Is he ever beat? Okay, you're with me on that,
I'm
right?
with you.
But the fact is, look, he was a walk-on. And started at quarterback at Louisville as a freshman. Okay, think about that. He wanted to play in the NFL. Obviously, at 5'8", 5'9", 5'10", wasn't going to happen. I know this, is so do you. Anybody that height who can play major college football and is that short, and I say shortness with 10 to 11 care, it's got to be cocky to succeed. And what I see in this guy, I say cocky in a positive way.
Yeah.
He's really cocky, yet I think he's got some humbleness about him, and I think he's got respect in him for others and elders. And I love what he said about Stoops yesterday, and I love what Mitch said about Stoops yesterday. Neither here nor there, but I think he's got both. I love be afraid of somebody being cocky. What are you, nuts? I love his cockiness, and I love the fact that he respects things that have happened before him. It's a wonderful combination.
Yeah. Look. Kirk Cignetti at Indiana University is very self-assured. He has said some things that show how self-assured he is. Will Stein is self-assured.
Cocky. I like it. Cignetti is cocky.
And I love it. Look, if you don't have confidence in yourself, who else is going to have confidence in you besides yourself? Who's going to have more confidence? I love it. And here's the thing. That's gonna exude to a potential prospects to come here and play football for him. Now, the most important thing now is to be able to bring in enough guys to be able to be competitive in this conference to the next level. Because here's the thing. It's unfortunate for him that Coach Stoops has set a bar that's higher than what Coach Stoops had to jump over. So, winning 6 games, obviously winning 7, as we saw a couple years ago, is not good enough for this fan base now. So can he eclipse that bar and be consistent at 8, 9 wins? We will see. It's gonna be exciting to see a brand of offense that is going to bring excitement. Now let's see if that brand of offense can result in a lot more W's.
By the way, you know who just got a huge raise?
Who's that?
Eric Wolford is going to LSU.
Oh, LSU. Yeah.
you know that Mitch was only too happy to release it from his contract because he did have an extension to his contract. And I would assume that Stein was bringing his own guy anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Had to pay him off. And by the way, that's not negative. But
No.
as I recall, when Brad White turned down LSU when Brad went there were reports, and I believe you said you heard the same thing, that he turned down $2.1 million, and Mitch gave him a really nice raise to 1.4 because Brad liked it here, liked working with Stoops. So everything is about the money. I would assume that Eric Wolford will be one of the top 10 highest paid assistant offensive line coaches in the country.
Probably so.
Maybe top 5.
Probably so. And that, I would say, the two most important relationships on offense is a coordinator, an O-line coach, and coordinator and quarterback. That means Lane Kiffin really likes him because that, I'm telling you, that choice from an OC is not taken lightly. So that means he trusts Wolford to be able to handle that, his scheme and what he wants to see from his offense. Because that relationship, man, is so important for an offense. Because if it's not going to be a good offense. It's not going to be able to do things that you want them to do.
Wolford is old school, isn't he?
I think so.
Was there something
put it lightly
on Twitter you were getting in it with somebody? Did I read something wrong?
About?
Never mind. I'll leave it alone. Jeff Bedett.
Okay.
Been down on my show. I like Jeff. I think he's cocky too. I think he needed to be cocky to survive. I thought he's a hell of an athlete. I believe him. He told me, we were texting up and back, that he and Juice Johnson, another wonderful wide receiver, made a deal years ago that they would never come out and be negative towards Vince Morrow, while Stoops was here because they really liked Stoops. And that's anything negative towards Stoops. He really likes Stoops. I mean, Stoops is his guy, which I found is interesting. But he didn't say it. I'd like to say he said it on my show months ago, but he didn't. He hinted at it. Because that's just honest. He hinted at the fact that when he left here, he learned so much more about being a wide receiver than here. Okay. And now he said he went to Vince to say the coaches need to do, and by the way, and I can see Jeff doing this, and so can you. Coaches need to do a better job, and da-da-da-da-da. And then Vince got really mad. And then he said, we played the tape the other day, is that Vince badmouthed him to NFL people. And in fairness, Vince said he never did it. And then when I'm going back to Jeff up and back, he's going, I have no reason to lie. You had a take on that before we say goodbye?
I will say this. It is that recruiting, that liaison to the college is a weird spot to be put in.
Okay, but give me a no filter.
I have no doubt that it happened. All I got to say is there's nuance and layers to that. It's no doubt. If he said here, NFL coaches talks to you all the time. And if an NFL coach told him that happened. Now, there's some layers and nuance to why he would say that and why Vince would say that. Both can be accurate and both can be right. I would say this. You know my stance on Vince, but I'm going to say this. As a liaison to the NFL, you have to be honest, because if you're not honest, certain NFL teams will not come back and draft your guys because you weren't honest and they found something out that you knew. So there's some it's a balance. It's a balance.
And that's absolutely true. By the way, you've said it before. Give me 2 lines of how you feel about Vince, because somebody listening today might not have heard you say it in the past. Just give me 2 lines.
2 lines. Might not have been the total reason of the success in recruiting. He was a great recruiter, but it takes more than just one guy. And he got all the credit, pretty much.
Which ticked off a lot of the assistant coaches.
Bing!
Okay. And I've said before.
Yeah.
I've said before. Last thing about UK football, I got to run. Next time I won't talk so much. I apologize. I have a big mouth. I don't know if you ever noticed it. Last thing, you got something really quick about UK football, your take that we didn't talk about.
Man, that's a hard. I would say this is to end this season. This team could not handle in-game adversity. They could handle post-game adversity, getting themselves ready for the next game. But when games went sour early, this team could not find a way to stop the leak. And that happened in this Louisville game. They could not find a way to stop the leak. Once that touchdown happened after the block punt, that game was pretty much over. It was unfortunate.
Really quick, because we hadn't talked. Were you supporting firing Stoops? It's ex post factor, but we haven't talked since it happened.
Support is a strong one, but I definitely understood. It was time for a change. Because look, you don't get the energy and the excitement about next season like you get with a new coach that you would have gotten with Coach Stoops. So yes, it was time for a change.
Bless you, brother.
Yes, man.
All right, talk to
you.
Y'all
Have a good one.
Hey, Van, you're the best. And quick, give a plug for your show because
The Locker.
Because guess what? You know, I initially thought when I never told you this, and I know I'm late. I never told you this when I first started listening to the show a long time ago, whenever it was. Going, I need to talk to management about maybe taking your podcast and put it on our air 1 hour leak a Thursday night or something like that. And then I don't remember what you were talking about, but what is my hand up now? It was about 5 minutes in. And I'm going, and I was going to have a couple suggestions for you, which if you want, I'll tell you off the air. Not on your show's great. And I do have a couple suggestions. I don't put that on the air. Somebody think I'm being negative. I'm not, from a constructive thing. But about 5 minutes in, I shouldn't have said that. It's the truth, but I shouldn't have said that. About 5 minutes in, I went, no blank way can this be on radio. and in an odd way, it might take something away from what you did. I've had 3 people now come at me and say I should quit doing this here and do a totally no filter. I mean, because let's put it this way. I've said this before, are there times I have to hold back? Absolutely. Am I more open than anybody I know? Absolutely. I'm not bought and sold by anybody. But would there be some things that I would say on a podcast that I don't say here? To be honest, yes. And I don't want to do it. But 3 people have come at me and said it could be unbelievable. I said, well, is my show that bad? My numbers are growing. So anyway, one more time, give a quick plug. I talked over you.
Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Locker 411 on all social media platforms, Twitter, YouTube, etc. You can follow me and Anthony White on Wednesdays. It is a great show. I am a little biased, but it is a great show. I promise you.
I'm trying to help you get over your shyness. Bless you, brother.
Y'all have a good one, Jimmy.
Hey,
see you, Van.
He never said goodbye to me. He hung up. You guys got this bro thing, Jimmy. You just really, and which is fine. And now it's got to the point he can't say goodbye to me.
Yeah, he's in too deep now. Now he's got to commit to the bit.
Right. And I've been trying to think of a way to change it, and I obviously have not been successful. It's all good. You saw his laugh, right, on the Zoom before he hung up?
Oh, yeah.
Got you again, Cutler. All good. I tell you what's all good, better than all good, Blue Lotus Health, 859-533-0914. 859-533-0914. Now also providing a licensed massage therapist, acupuncture, Ramon Carriega, Blue Lotus Health on Versailles Road. Please use my name. Please consider helping yourself and helping your health. Please, it's been wonderful for me. Health is, at a certain point, is everything. All I got to do now is get rid of my belly. What a struggle. But other than that, I think I'm doing really, really, really good. And Ramon is part of it. So thank you. 859-533-0914. 859-533-0914. Nick Roush coming up next. Nick Roush. Really good. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313. Hi, this is Alan Cutler. The Quantrell Auto Group has a great deal for this month. Subaru. The Outback is special, so check this out. 0%. That's right, 0% interest for 36 months. And if you want to spread it out to 72 months, 1.9%. What a deal. 0% interest for 36 months. Don't forget, the Quantrell family of dealerships is the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks.
I'm Kathy Binkaman. Over the holiday, there was an attempted fraud attack. My personal banker, Mary Rose, and I networked together, and the first thing that I thought of was I have to text her. And it was just within the next few minutes, there was an entire team that came together collectively. And that's just not the type of service that you typically get from your bank.
That's Kathy's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank. Time to thrive. Member FDIC.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties. Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
W223CV Lexington. ESPN Sports Radio 1300 and 92.5. WLXG Lexington, an LM Communications broadcasting station. The only no-filter sports show in Kentucky. It's the Alan Cutler Show with award-winning TV sportscaster Alan Cutler.
92.5 FM. Mark Pope had a press conference today. We're not talking basketball. Isn't that crazy? Never in my wildest dreams. By the way, Pope said that Mo Diabate maybe next week with his high ankle sprain. And Lowe is doing some live work in practice, which tells me not much, which means he ain't showing up today, tomorrow, the next day, or anything like that. Now, without further ado, having to follow Van Hiles, which I know he can, and Van is special, a young man, and I hate to say this to your face because it's going to go to your head. You do a hell of a job covering football for KSR. You do a really, really good job, and I respect you. And for a young guy, you have a wonderful future in the business. And so I'm, curious about your take. I thought Stein won the press conference, which I think is overrated, but you say it, whatever, now he's got to go to work. Mm-hmm. That he's really good. But what was your take of the, and I say this with loving kindness, I'm not being negative, what I call a dog and pony show. That's what yesterday is, and it's supposed to be. But what was your opinion of the dog and pony show? Nick Roush, KSR.
Yeah, thanks, Alan. Thanks for being kind. It is, there is a lot of pomp and circumstance. It's theater, part pep rally, part press conference, but we did get some answers to some questions. And I think the part that surprised me, the part that I overlooked when we were talking about Will Stein is there's a lot of flashy lures out there, right? Like, ooh, he's got this awesome high-powered offense. He's aggressive. He's taking quarterbacks to the Heisman Trophy ceremony. The part that we forgot is that he coached alongside Dan Lanning for 3 years. And Dan Lanning at Oregon, he was Kirby Smart's old defense coordinator. He's kind of a crazy SOB, you know? Like, he is a tough, hard-nosed guy. He reminds me a lot of Dan Campbell, where he kind of uses meathead energy to distract you from the fact that he's actually really intelligent and really bright X's and O's. But that meathead sort of the toughness talk from Stein, right? Like that was the part that jumped out to me. It was, we're going to have a fun, exciting offense, but we're not going to sacrifice that we're not sacrificing toughness to make it happen. Like we're going to have a spring game because if you want to get better at football, you have to play football. If we're going to win tough games on the road in the SEC, then we got to be tough. And you can't do that unless you're tough in practice. This is going to be the hardest offseason ever. That was the part that I was unfamiliar of your game, Will Stein. I did not know you had that in him, but I like to hear that because so much of Kentucky's success on the Mark Stoops era was being one of the tougher teams in the SEC, and Stein's not taking that part out of Kentucky football.
That's a great comment, not just because I had in my notes too. I was kind of surprised, and the way he kind of put it sounds like he's not afraid of injuries, and I think some coaches today are. I'm not ripping him, that you're going to have to hit, and they're going to hit. And he talked about hitting, not a ton, but he talked about it more than I was anticipating. And I loved it too. I absolutely love it too. The only way to do this is to play football. The only way to play football is to hit. No. So my analysis is, and I say this on a positive thing, and I like this. Anybody who's listed at 5'10" is never not 5'10". My head, if he's not going to do this, so I'm pretty safe. In a stocking feet, if he's 5'10", I'll shave my head. I always want to look like you, Nick. Neither here nor there. He's not 5'10", but anybody at that height, 5'10", whatever, who gets to play quarterback on this level Okay, you better be cocky as you know what. I think he's cocky, and I like that. Yet I felt some humbleness about him. I like what he said about Stoops. I like what Mitch said about Stoops.
Yeah.
I really did. And if he has both, like I felt yesterday, and we'll find out more as he's around us and that kind of stuff. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, because that's part of these intro pressers is having it's a lifelong achievement. You're going to celebrate it. And there was some humility there, a little bit of wide-eyed, like, oh my gosh, all these cop cars are here to to bring me from the airport. This is a little crazy. But to your point, not only do you have to have supreme confidence to be 5'8", 5'9", and play quarterback at Trinity or U of L.
Wait a second, you just made him shorter.
Oh, yeah, I'm 5'8", 5'10" in cleats. But
go, Nick.
But you have to be tough, and that was the part that he danced around the Cutter Boley question, and he should. Whenever a new coach gets hired, they shouldn't make crazy pronouncements about their personnel because they haven't had a time to look at them yet. But when I asked him what he looks for in quarterbacks, because he did take a Bo Nix who was battered and beaten at Auburn, got him to the Heisman ceremony. Dylan Gabriel, he got kicked to the curb at Oklahoma. Dante Moore got benched at UCLA, and now he's leading a playoff team. It's like, what do you see? What do you look for those guys? And obviously he talked about accuracy and a little mobility. You got to be able to navigate the pocket. But most importantly, he wants somebody who's tough, somebody who's going to hang in the pocket and take hits, take shots, and then get back up and have the team rally around him. If you're going to build around your quarterback, it has to be a guy that people have belief in. And that's why I think people were so excited about Cutter this year, is because the team believed in him. He was a tough guy. And I think he checked a lot of those boxes, if not all of the boxes that Stein talked about in that intro press conference.
You just put up a tweet about quarterbacks. Why don't you share that, and then I've got something for you.
Yeah. It was when Stein was on KSR this morning, Matt kind of pushed him. Is he going to be back? And he said, I want all these guys to be 100%. I want him to be back. I want all these guys to be back. But the part that jumped out to me more was when he said his message to Cutter was, I don't think there's a better guy that's going to be his head coach than me, to coach the quarterbacks and to be around him every single day.
They met this morning?
Yeah, they had a nice little chit chat this morning.
Had a little chit chat, and what I hear from different places that they did what you would expect. They looked at film, they talked philosophy, those kinds of things. What you expect any head coach to talk to a quarterback and that kind of thing. I have no clue. Just because they're rumors doesn't mean anything. Look, he's the head coach. If he wants to bring somebody else in, he will.
Yeah,
he should do whatever the hell he wants. It is just as much as I like Cutter. I love Cutter. I do. But, he should do what he needs to do. Competition is competition. And you usually need more than one quarterback, even though Cutter was amazingly durable, but he did get the crap beat out of him sometimes. And no. And by the way, I'm being really careful about this, and I've said this many times. Somebody's going to pay Cutter a ton of money, whether it's here or someplace else.
Yep.
And this has nothing to do with me talking about Cutter. Guys like Cutter have been getting offers forever. And they've been getting, some of these guys, big offers. This is not just about Cutter. And I've said this many times. Offers at times are happening on the field after games. And Mitch kind of alluded to that yesterday. I was when that open about it. And do I think Kentucky's going to have to pay more to keep Cutter? Yep. I don't know this, but I believe this because it's happened with a lot of people. When everybody says everything's about money, there's a yes and no to it.
Yes.
Example, Brandon Smith. I've been sitting on this for a week. I don't know why. Brandon Smith's a great point guard from Purdue, from somebody who knows. I don't often say from somebody who knows, and I don't normally say I kind of know money because a lot of it's out there. As you hear all kinds of stuff, and sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. I know you battle the same thing. Kentucky went after Brandon Smith.
Yes, that was the sort of whispers that were going around when they were up in Indy.
Yes, it's true. I factually know it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Heard the whispers, but I got this now another way. I am told from somebody who knows that Kentucky offered him $5 million. Now, the first thought would be, well, that means Purdue paid him more. No.
Yeah.
No. I'm told from somebody who knows, and by the way, it's pretty good money. He got $3 million. And my point is, I've said this ad nauseum. Not everything is about money. Now, you might raise the offer, but there's a lot of kids who want to stay where they want to stay.
Yeah.
There's a Purdue guy. And by the way, I can see Pope going, well, we tried. I get it. The kid wants to stay there, but you got to try. And so when everything is always about money, it's BS. Now, it's raising salaries with a lot of kids, and a lot of kids things that's just downright stupid, but they're just asking and they're not getting it and all that kind of stuff. And that's not a shot against Kentucky that they turned Kentucky down. He's been at Purdue for 8,000 years. but I'm not saying that Kentucky's going to have to be. I don't know this. I don't have any inside information. I honestly believe, though, that Kentucky doesn't have to be the highest to keep Cutler here, but you have to be in the ballpark. And
yes,
you believe.
Well, because you got to think of it from the other side of the coin, too. Players will be willing to take a discount if they want to stay and play for this coach or play for this program, but it has to be respectable, right? Like, because if you think so little of me, if you think I'm going to take that big of a discount, like it feels like you're being disrespected, that you're not wanted. So it does need to be in the ballpark, and that's why ultimately right now where Kentucky stands with Cutler and really with all of these guys is because I think right now Will Stein's top job is not only evaluating his current roster, but then also kind of putting a number figure on it. Because the other part of it too is they are going to pay more in free agency because there is like I feel like there's a different term for it, Alan, like not a sunk cost, but like the cost of moving, right? Like there's you got to pay a little bit more to convince somebody to leave a good situation. So, Kentucky's dealing with that right now. And if they want guys to stay, they don't have to always overpay whatever somebody's promising, something that also might not always be true. But they need to be in the ballpark to make sure that those guys feel wanted. Because I think that's the worry for a lot of these kids is, all right, I had a good thing going. Now we got a new coach. Does he even want me here? Like, I like it here, and I think he's awesome, but does he want me? So if he doesn't want me, then I got to go look somewhere else, and that could be stressful. So I think the one positive, there's a lot of negatives to the calendar, but the one positive, Alan, is that right now it is a dead period. The transfer portal does not technically open until January 2nd. There's tampering and kids saying they're going to go in beforehand, but at least there's time for Will Stein to evaluate his roster, to evaluate his options, to get contracts ready for these guys, to get formal offers ready for these guys, and then for those guys to be able to make informed decisions, and instead of everything happen all willy-billy 100 miles an hour.
Well said. Well said. But people need to understand, I've said this a million times, recruiting is going on 365 days a year, and there's no way to stop this. Now, there's some rules I think, and I know you think this too, I read you on KSR, that certain things need to be changed, and that's fine, and I agree with certain things that need to change. And I'm not even sure I have the right answer. But the system now sucks because I think this is all Kiffin's fault with LSU. I really don't. I agree with Saban. Like, make it so that you can't do it now. I mean, neither here nor there. But people need to understand runners, agents, phone calls.
Yeah.
365 days a year.
ABC, Alan. Always be Cruton.
Is there anything you heard yesterday you didn't like from Stein?
I wanted him to take a shot at Louisville. Because it's the rival. It's fun. It's fun. It's fun with yeah. I would have. Here's the thing. I know there's nuance to it all, and he's grateful for his time there.
He should be, and he is.
But I would have liked for him to maybe pull a little Signetti, like, Purdue sucks, and so does Ohio State. Like, it would have been great if I love my time at Louisville, but we're going to beat them, and Tennessee sucks, and I hate Florida too. Like, I like a little – I like some pot shots at rivals. Would have loved to have heard a little bit of that in the presser. But all in all, like, there's not a ton to pick apart other than to say that it speaks to what you were just talking about, where money isn't everything, but – to diminish the money they had at Oregon. Like, come on. They have a lot of money at Oregon. Phil Knight, Nike.
That everybody knows that Nike has maybe more money than anybody else is Phil Knight. But he also said, and I found it fascinating, and I believe him, by the way. Now, you tell me if you don't, that there were times they weren't the best offer, or second offer, or third best offer, and I buy that. I absolutely buy that. As far as resources, that Oregon is Oregon.
No, I buy that, and I think especially in high school recruiting, that matters. But in the portal, where he's going to have to do a lot of work over the next month, a lot of these guys realize this is my last time to get a check, so the dollars mean more, right? Like that's where things really matter. And I'm curious, just from a portal navigation standpoint, that's not like Oregon obviously got transfers, but they recruit so well out of high school that they don't need to take a ton outside of, they did get transfer quarterbacks, but Oregon has not been at the high volume that Kentucky will need to be this year. So that's something that we're going to learn a lot about Will Stein, and also just how well resourced Kentucky is based on the kind of players and how many players they're going to get from the portal in January.
If he would have done one thing, not like you suggested, if he would have said, as he did, and I respected what he said.
Yeah.
First time in Louisville, and and he should. And matter of fact, if he said otherwise, it'd have been disingenuous.
Yeah.
What if he said otherwise? I would have lost a lot of respect for him, to tell you the truth. And so what he said, I expected, but he could have done. Easy for me to say that with a smile. Hey, Louisville, I love you. All the things he did, but you know where I'm here now, and then done an L's down.
Yeah.
While, although he would have been destroyed on social media by Louisville fans. And you know what? There's some Louisville media people that are just, I hope you lose every game, and stuff like that. I mean, he's such a likable guy. I was expecting more from social media, from some Louisville media type saying, you know what? When we play you, meaning we, a Louisville guy, I hope we beat the blank out of you. I get that. But the rest of the time, I hope you win. I didn't see that from, now how many media of Louisville did I see? Probably 8 or 10. Not a ton. I wasn't searching for it. It's just there on the feed. I didn't see one. That doesn't mean I didn't see one. And I'm going, come on, Louisville people, really?
Well, and you got the opposite from some of them. So there's a guy, Jared Stillman, who is Nashville based now. So he's not in the mix now, but he was at U of L a little bit after Stein. Was like a basketball manager there and now does takes. And he was over the top in his effusive praise. And I think that's because a lot of people at Louisville, there was some smoke about Jeff Brom at Penn State and some other jobs where Louisville would have wanted to call Will Stein to bring him back. They like him a lot there. And it does put the rivalry in a weird spot where you've got two former Louisville Trinity and Louisville Cardinal quarterbacks who are now leading the Governor's Cup. It's kind of weird. It's going to take some adjusting to get to. But to your point about guys want him to lose every game, I'm one of those because I'm based out of Louisville. My wife, she played volleyball at U of L. So, we're a divided household, right? But I'm of the belief that the rivalry is better when both teams are better.
I agree.
It was fun making Bobby Petrino eat some humble pie in that 56-10 win, right? It was a lot of fun, but it is better when they are competitive matchups like that Kenny Payne game that second year that nobody showed up to, and Kentucky's just doing windmill dunks like they're the Globetrotters playing the Generals. That's no fun, right? Last year's game was a well-played, great basketball game. Kentucky didn't play as well this year, and it wasn't as fun, but it's better when the rivalry is healthy. That was a sad excuse of a football game last Saturday. That was embarrassing. That was one of the worst Kentucky losses I've ever experienced. The rivalry's better when both teams are better, and Will Stein's going to make Kentucky a better football team.
Why does everyone forget about Rich Brooks? Seriously now. Before you were born, if I remember right, his name was Terry Baker, lefty quarterback. I saw him run about 80, 90 yards that set up a touchdown, which they won a big game. He wins the Heisman at Oregon State, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the backup quarterback was Rich Brooks.
Huh.
And then Rich Brooks Field is at the University of
Oregon.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he did it. Now, okay, not social media back then and all that kind of stuff. And actually watch the run. was like 89 yards or something like that. You can look it up. I guarantee it wasn't 75. And he was the backup quarterback. And in the state, Oregon State is not national. It just isn't. We get that. But in the state of Oregon, that's a big deal. I've been out to Oregon many times, and I've talked to some people who are Oregon State, and in their pocket, in their world, they don't like each other. Just like Kentucky and Louisville don't like each other. It's not as big as Kentucky and Louisville, and basically because of the basketball program, it's more than football. But he did it, and so why not? And by the way, Rich thinks the world of Stein.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is funny how so Rich Brooks, he was helping Mitch hire somebody, and then ended up saying, "Okay, just hire me." And then he passes the keys off to Joker. Well, now there's a connection in this hire. So 3 out of the last 4 hires, Rich Brooks has been tangentially involved in some form or fashion. Who would have thought that Kentucky and Oregon would be such a coaching pipeline for the Wildcats? And hell, Mitch was an Oregon State guy.
Yep, assistant AD. And by the way, do I think it helped him that he could talk to Rob Mullins? I do, who used to be assistant AD here. Absolutely. But I think it's just a coincidence, because if this young coach was at, let's say, California, and they had money and were really good and there were no Mitch ties, the same thing would have happened. I'm not much on coincidences, but if Stein was at Cal and Cal was a top 10 team and had all this money and he'd have done all these things as an offensive guy, I think the same thing will happen. I think it just gave Mitch more, and this is fair, more comfort, because he could pick up the phone and call Rob Mullins, and there were other people who could pick up the phone and whoever did due diligence. The last one. No, I got about 2 more, if that's cool. We'll never know. But 2 things. One, when do you think the first contact happened? And I don't think it was directly. I do believe there were some boosters that were contacted quite a while ago. And I'm throwing one more at you. I don't know this. John Summerall said something very interesting. I do not think he was off the job. I would bet both your paychecks on that. Okay. Mitch doesn't offer jobs to somebody unless he knows the person wants to come and he's ready to offer the job, because he doesn't like getting turned down. He just waits in the process. And that's not negative. That's just how his style is. When Summerall did his opening press conference, he said how lucky it was. Lane Kiffin told me he should take the Florida job. I don't know if you knew that or not. He kind of said that he and Lane are really good friends, and Lane said that was the best job for him. He said, Florida picked us, which he said something like, I'm grateful for, but here's the but. He said, we had other choices, and we picked Florida. Now, we both know Auburn was one of them.
Yep.
And do I believe, wouldn't bet a lot of money on it, I'd bet a couple 6-packs that somebody either reached out to Summerall and he never turned it down, and I don't think ever got serious, but I think Summerall, somehow through some form, there was a conversation, whether Mitch did it or somebody else. It would almost be irresponsible of UK not to. And I'm not ripping them for what they did. I think the Stein hire is great. I think either one would have been great, but that's neither here nor there. And you can't negate the 42-11 as a head coach, and there's no hidden message there. But I just can't believe, with all the things that go on back channels, that somebody didn't talk to Summerall. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. So I had people tell me that Stein and UK had kind of kicked the tires in October, when things were kind of souring. And I would imagine that's the part I can't confirm. I would imagine that there was some tires kicked with John Summerall, but really the bigger issue is that Mitch was willing to let Mark Stoops try to win his job back. He didn't say that, but he kind of insinuated, we were playing for a bowl game the last 2 games. We wanted to see this thing through. And by the time that game ended on Saturday, I think John Summerall had already made his mind up that he was going to Florida. It was just Kentucky, even though they may have had earlier conversations, they couldn't get into a real conversation with him because simply put, they were just too far behind, right? Like, they waited till the end of the year. Other schools did not. They got in line first. They made hard, aggressive pushes early on. And hell, Florida got turned down by Kiffin, a couple weeks ago, essentially. So they had time to be able to get their ducks in a row to make the strong push for Summerall. Whereas Kentucky, I do think they would have, but they were too late. They were too late. I think Summerall would have considered it. Would he have taken Kentucky over Florida? The world will never know. But it's something that's going to be fun because Florida's coming to Kroger Field next year, and John Summerall and Brad White are going to be there coaching against Will Stone.
You know, I have no idea if he would have taken it or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if he would not. I do believe, no matter what Mitch said yesterday, that Summerall believes he'll get more support at Florida than here.
Enough, Alan. Enough.
And by the way, that's really good. That was lecturing the media yesterday. Would you say that was a lecture?
Yeah.
By the way, it doesn't bother me. I'm 73. It's kind of like, yeah, okay.
I was one, just quickly, I'm entertained by it. Like fiery Mitch Barnhart, we never see that. But also, Mitch, like, could you have? People are happy with you right now. Why are you making people mad at you? Like, this is a great time to pump up your program, and you're just giving people an excuse to be mad.
Oh, I wasn't mad. I don't care. You know what? If the one thing you can learn from me, it took me a while to get there. You just don't care. It is what. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. The rest is superfluous. Repeat after me. If it's good, it's good.
If it's good, it's good.
Bad is bad.
If it's bad, it's bad.
Superfluous.
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 You know, you're a really good reporter. This is my thing. If you get the superfluous part, you're really good at what you do. You'll take another step up.
Superfluous. I'll work on it.
Yeah. Okay. You're a treat. God, that was really funny. Bless you. I appreciate your time. Hope you'll join us again. Scale of 1 to 10, real quick. 10 being the highest. You rate this higher is?
Oh, 9. Yeah, easy. Maybe I can withhold some judgment and adjust this because really the biggest part of this is also who he's hiring next. The next hires, offense coordinator, defense coordinator. We know Justin Burke is most likely going to be his offensive coordinator. He says he wants an aggressive defense. Got to get that hire. Got to nail that hire. Got to assemble the right staff. We have a totality of the picture. We'll see. But based on right now, I'll give him a 9 out of 10.
Okay. Do you have a defensive coordinator name you've heard you want to share?
I wish I did. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you, Alan.
Well, you should write it for KSR.
There we go. Yeah.
Give a great plug for KSR and what you do.
Yeah, come visit us, KentuckySportsRadio.com. You know it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, too. We're going live there all the time. I know there's people out there watching right now on YouTube. So subscribe. We have a lot of fun content out there. It's been a fun week. It's been crazy. And it's funny, Alan. We scheduled this like 2 weeks ago, before Thanksgiving maybe. And it's like, oh, it just so happened to be the day after.
It's pretty crazy. Give your Twitter handle, too, before I say goodbye.
At Roush KSR, ROUSH KSR, like Roush Racing.
Something your mother does you want to plug, too?
Actually, shout out to the Wofford Terriers because my mother will be at the volleyball game tonight. My cousin Chloe Smith, she was most outstanding player of the SoCon tournament. She's going to be playing against the Cats tonight.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So
pretty cool.
Yeah. Exciting times.
I thought you were going to make up something he was very legitimate. Come on, dude. With you, I don't know. Get off my phone. Thank you so much. I appreciate the hell out of you. And remember, the one thing you got from today was?
Superfluous.
That was really good, wasn't it?
Very good. He's going to get it down.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a really good radio guy, by the way. First time he was doing a show while I was doing TV. It was Radio Row, kind of like before the Derby. So he was, I retired in 18. I don't remember, it was the 18 Derby, 17 Derby, 16 Derby. And yeah, I talked to him. I said, hey, you got a future in radio if you want. And did a show in Louisville for a long time. And his world got too crazy. But Nick is really good. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate you. Thank you, Van House. I appreciate you. Thank you, Mr. Lantern, who's been waiting on hold. And so, Bo, I promise you're coming up right after this. But I have to mention my friend, Terry Page, a great licensed massage therapist, 859-373-0578, 859-373-0578. A great licensed massage therapist in Butler, Kentucky, Monday and Tuesday, Lexington, Thursday and Friday. Terry, my neck. I need you to help my neck. I did something silly. So I need some work done, and she will take care of me. Check her out. 859-373-0578. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter comment? Hit the text line 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties. Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. The Quantrell Auto Group has a great deal for this month. Subaru. The Outback is special, so check this out. 0%. That's right, 0% interest for 36 months. And if you want to spread it out to 72 months, 1.9%. What a deal. 0% interest for 36 months. Don't forget, the Quantrell family of dealerships is the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks.
My name is Terry Schultz, CEO for the Rutherford County Area Habitat for Humanity. Republic Bank has really been a game changer. They have invested not only financially, but time to really listen so that we can move our mission forward. What I like about Republic Bank is they've come in asking, what are your needs? And I don't know that you get that any other place.
That's Terry's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank. Time to thrive. Member FDIC.
Ho, ho, ho.
What are you doing, Uncle Rick?
I'm looking at these twinkle lights, 250 strands of lights, 100 individual bulbs per strand for a grand total of 25,000 twinkle lights.
Well, it looks like you're not quite ready for the holidays yet. But here at Clark's Pop & Shop, we are. We have 5-hour energy shots, buy 2, get 1 free, and Mike and Ike or Hot Tamales theater box candy, 2 for $2.
Maybe I should wrap up my lights so I can get over to Clark's Pop & Shop.
Uncle Rick, the little lights aren't blinking.
I know, Carl. I know.
Happy holidays from the Clark family.
ESPN 92.5 and 1300. Live and local. Weekdays from 10 to 3. Get the ESPN Lexington app. Just search ESPN Sports Lexington in your app store. Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google. Monday through Friday.
1300 AM, 92.5 FM. I got to clean up 2 things, and then Mr. Lantern is kind enough to hang on. One, there's a really nice picture on Twitter now with Cash Daniels shaking the hands of Will Stein. And Cash has done the show, and he said he was in better shape than he was at Kentucky, not that he wasn't in shape at Kentucky. And so yesterday's the first time I've seen him in forever. You can do the show via Zoom, but it's not the same thing. He is ripped. And he's got the cowboy hat on, and I've said this before, and I'm going to push it. He has a shot at becoming a huge star as a wrestler because he can walk the walk and he can talk the talk, and it's just absolutely a great picture. Second thing, and Mr. Landry, you don't want to be involved with this, trust me. I talked about it earlier. I criticized Matt Jones because he's been saying forever that Mitch doesn't talk, and it's just BS. He does talk, and so he was sent by somebody at UK a bunch of dates where he apparently has talked. I got the same sort of list, and then he said it's not a press conference, that doesn't count. It's just BS, and Matt just should have said he was wrong, and he wasn't. He was wrong. Mitch never talks to the media. BS. He talks to the media August 1st, August 12th, September 9th, October 14th, November 11th, and December 3rd. That's a bunch. That is a bunch. And John Hale just put up, I talk to him all the time. And so when Matt says it's not a press conference, excuse me, Matt, you got a lot of people on your staff. You got a lot of really good people. Send them down next time there's a blue meeting. You're just wrong, Matt. And you know what's disingenuous? Why don't you just admit you're wrong? But he's just screamed so many times that Mitch never talks to the media. And he says, well, it's really not the same thing. It's not a press. Matt, you're just wrong. You're factually wrong. I did the media for like basically 50 years. You are wrong, and be a man and admit you're wrong. You can poke at me, but I can poke at him. And his people think, you can't pick on Matt Jones. Oh my gosh. Like I said, what he's built is unbelievable. I respect it, but right is right and wrong is wrong. Here's a guy who's never been wrong in his life. What a lie that is. I apologize for lying so bad. I'm just trying to make you smile. Mr. Bo Lanter, kind enough to join us. Now, I got to have a little fun with your son since he's not here, right? So Todd was going to join us. And so your son is doing, he and Maria, just magnificent what they're doing. I respect it. I love them. I love what they're doing. I'm so happy for the success, but I got to poke, right? And he's got all these commercials that he's doing now on his own, and he's doing with Maria. It's great. Whatever they're doing, it's spectacular. So he said, look, I got something that just came up. I can't do the show. Fine. I get it. It's all good. And I sarcastically said, what? Because you were in what? Is this for one of those great trips, whatever? He said, yes. Can we tell the truth since Todd's not here?
Yeah. Tell the truth.
You and I are jealous of what Todd's able to do. Is that the truth?
Oh yeah. He's getting to do a lot of fun things, him and Maria both, and I applaud him. That's fantastic. But yeah, I'm a little jealous.
I'm very jealous, and I applaud him. You got to be very jealous. Some of the stuff that he and Maria put on Instagram, it's like, hey, we're going to pay you really good. How much is not my business. And by the way, in your off hours, and they work a lot harder than people think to shoot these commercials. Trust me, I know this. But you can lay by the beach in the sun, and this is one of the prettiest places in the world.
Yeah, it's funny. I was actually giving Maria a hard time about her and Todd, and she made the comment that day that she had like 350 wardrobe changes. And you start thinking about a nice looking lady that's got to do 350 wardrobe changes, and then get her hair fixed back up and her makeup on, but shirts going on and off and all that type of stuff. I mean, think about changing clothes 350 times in 5 hours. I mean, it sounds glamorous, but there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that's not quite so glamorous.
And you're talking to a person that gets accused of never changing clothes, which is not true because I watch them a ton all the time, but I dress like a slob.
Taking a shower with your clothes on doesn't count as washing your clothes, Alan.
We're not going to get personal, but I better take more showers than you.
There's no way. I take 2 a day, so I'll stay with that.
Okay. Well, let's put it this way. We're in ballpark, believe it or not. But I don't look it, We
don't need to be superfluous about the whole thing.
Nick Ross was really funny, wasn't he?
He was.
It was really good. Okay. Come on, dude. You're going to be no filter. What the hell is wrong with this basketball team? They're 0. Give me one more, and then I promise I'll shut up. They're 0-3 as far as I'm concerned.
Well, before I go there, I'm going to go back to your Mitch comment. I'm going to open that can of worms again. To me, Mitch has done a phenomenal job. He's very good at saying and being involved and being upfront when he needs to be. But I think a lot of his job is not being upfront and letting other people, handle their own situations and deal with their issues or whatever's coming up. I think he does a great job of staying out of everybody else's way until he's needed. I like Mitch. I think he does a great job.
He's talked 5 times from August 1st to December 3rd. And as a reporter, all you have to do is show up. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Matt was so wrong, it's not even funny. And I got to tell you, the first time was one of the ones in August. And John Hale was there, and I think it was 1 or 2 other people. And my first thought is, where the hell is everybody?
Yeah.
When I was doing TV, we'd have been there.
Right.
You can't start press conference, not press conference. If you're going to stand there and answer questions for 5 minutes, if I can't get the question in that I need, guess what? Shame on me. But if you're too lazy to show up, I mean, I know he didn't do media, but he's just wrong. Anyway, I don't want to talk about him anymore. People say I'm too much, but what I do.
Back to your question, I'm frustrated with both the basketball style and I think Pope is a phenomenal coach. I think he'll get them in line, but I also don't see adjustments for various things that seem to be going on. And I think that's what his main forte was coming in here, is that he would make adjustments that a lot of people didn't feel like Coach Cal was making. And quite frankly, when I haven't seen some of those changes, or at least changes that amounted to a big change in the direction the game was going.
I'm concerned, and I've already said this, that their confidence sucks. I don't want to hear that somebody hit 33s out of 34 in practice. It's in the game. I just don't want to hear it anymore. I just don't. And I think these kids don't have confidence. By the way, that could change tomorrow. The second thing, and then I promise you, I'm actually going to turn my mic off so I don't interrupt you. I did that the other day. It was actually a smart thing to do so I don't interrupt people. I think he's thrown so much stuff at these kids that you can overload the brain. And although they're smart kids, that they're hesitating on the court. You can't play sports or do anything in life hesitating. You just can't. Now, when it gets to the point, if I'm right, where it becomes natural, they don't think, they're going to be much better. I think they're thinking on the court. Come on, dude, you played forever. You can't think on the court. I think those two things, there's more in particular, bother me. But what say you, Mr. Lanter, of half of the law firm of Lanter and Lanter, and the other half isn't there today?
Well, I've said this before on your show. I really think when you throw a bunch of new talent into one team, and you don't have a number of returning players, and again, I'm old school, but I know, and I didn't play a lot, but I certainly did everything in practice, and everybody knew where everybody was going based on the initial pass, or which direction the pass was made, and what direction you made your cut, whether it was behind the strong forward or cutting off the center, and everybody knew where they were going. And it is habit. It's everybody knows where everybody else is going to be. And now with what they call these motion offenses and more individualism, and I think it is confusing. I mean, I've never played in that type of environment. Obviously, Todd did in Cal's world, but I just think it's very obvious that they are, whether it's confused or lack of confidence or a combination of the two. I think it's a different type of game than I ever saw, and I think that's a lot of it.
You think they're thinking? I mean, you would know. I think they're
I think they are thinking, and I think what you said is right. You can't think. And I don't care whether it's, again, you bring the ball down the floor and you make a pass, you know where you're going. They seem to be more waiting on somebody to make a move or do something to create the initial movement and then react, rather than once they start a certain direction or make a certain pass, realizing what everybody's going to do. The person with the ball may have a lot of freedom, but I don't know if the other four know what's going to happen once he has that freedom and makes a move. And I think that's the difference. And in my world, you come down and make a pass, they knew where I was going. I knew where they were going. We knew, this guy was going to cut through and come out here. If he didn't get the ball, he's going to pop out and be in the corner. And I just don't know, with as much like quote unquote freelancing that they have, that everybody off the ball is as sure about where they're supposed to be. And then you throw the fact that they're all, it's a new team, new players together. I just think it's a whole different game than people realize over the last, 10 years, 20 years. It's just changed a lot.
I'm sorry. I really tried not to step on you. Can you outthink yourself by thinking too much as a coach?
I can't speak as a coach. I think that it just seems like I go back in my era with Dickie Parsons and Leonard Hamilton and Joe Dean Jr. and Coach Hall and those guys. And we worked on drills all the time, and the drills became part of the play. And so they would start with a group that has played together for the most part. Not you didn't have seniors leaving and freshmen coming in, but part of the drills we ran every day eventually ended up in a part of the play, offensively and defensively, as you progress through the year and as they wanted to add certain things. And I just don't see that type of development in this day and age, because you've got so many new players and so many young players and not a group that's played together. So they really don't have time to get the individual initial drills that you run in practice that eventually end up into a play or end up into a type of defense. And I just don't think you have time to do that type of development. So I think it can be very confusing. And if you're thinking about it, it's too late.
Got 25 seconds. I'm guessing you believe they can get it together. I do too. But right now, for a blue blood, they're not a very good team. Agree or disagree? They might become, but
I
they're
agree
not.
completely. And I think you made the comment they're 0-3. You're judged off of, what happens with Duke and what happens with Michigan State and what happens with Gonzaga coming up and Indiana coming up. And of course, the Louisville game. And those are the ones that people want to see. In the past, we had some lesser teams snuck up on us. I guess that's part of basketball and the shot clocks and the 3-pointers from my area and all that stuff. But I definitely think it can be, you're judged on those big blue games. Definitely.
Thank you, sir. Sorry for being a little late and jealous of your son.
Well, he's having fun. He deserves it. So let's give Maria the credit. I think she does a lot of the actual work. He gets to watch her perform, and then she tells him what to do, which is fine. He needs some direction.
Bo Lanter, former UK guard. Bless you, brother. Appreciate
it as always.
I'm sorry I'm late, but hope you had a great Thanksgiving with your family.
Had a great time.
Thank you. See you, brother.
Hope you did too.
I did. Lucky and blessed. Jimmy, what a hell of a show. Again, so lucky with the guests and the comments. Lanter is always really, really, really good. Nick was past superfluous, and Van was Van. Pretty simple. Brandon Ramsey, Deuce Williams, and Bob Bradley, who was a superstar at UK in his own right. Superstar in UK in his own right is going to tell his story. What he did for so many athletes at Kentucky is off the charts. Have yourself a great day. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
Listen to the Alan Cutler Show weekdays noon to 2 on.
Jimmy, shame on me. I didn't write down the time, but it was really early on when I said, "What is your thoughts on the hiring?"
Okay, yeah, I can find that.
Yeah, but it's early on, and I apologize. That's my bad. In 3, 2, 1. Hi, this is Alan Cutler at 1300 AM and 92.5 FM, live on the ESPN Sports Lexington app and with podcast. Brandon Ramsey, always special. Bob Bradley, what a great person he was for UK. And Deuce Williams, see you at noon.
That'll work.
And you want me to send it to you or just former UK star Van Hiles? Because I have to run to the little boys' room. UK Van Hiles talks about the hiring of Will Smith.
Yeah, that works.
Will Smith, Will Stein.
Close.